Well, disaster comedies could be an old trend, but what if we had something in this niche coming this year? And when it's a real adaptation of Don DeLillo 1985 novel, it gets far more interesting. So let's see in today's episode what you guys need to know about the film White Noise. From watching the trailer, we can see that the movie is basically around a family thrown off course by an airborne hazardous event that has quite significance to the COVID age that author Don DeLillo could not have predicted. Trust me, he didn't predict COVID. However, the source material here is intended to speak to a broader feeling of pain and fear of elements that will never go away as long as that dust is still there. For around 90 minutes, Baumbach's version of White Noise unpacks these complicated ideas with a lighthearted attitude before the director arguably loses his hold on the more serious material in the last act. Still, there's a lot to admire here, thanks to the unusual pairing of a novelist and a director who doesn't exactly match. Isn't life full of surprises? White Noise is a contemporary American family who is attempting to deal with everyday life mundane conflicts, while grappling with the universal mysteries of love, death, and the possibility of happiness in an uncertain world. It's both hilarious and horrifying, lyrical and absurd, ordinary and apocalyptic, all at the same time. And everyone loves some apocalyptic plot, right? White Noise, Noah Baumbach's latest film for 2022, reunites him with longtime partner Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig. Baumbach has established himself as a filmmaker who consistently captures the interest of audiences and other filmmakers with films such as Marriage Story and Frances Ha, and White Noise looks ready to do the same. And as we said before, the film is based on Don DeLillo's highly acclaimed novel, which received the National Book Award. White Noise will be released in select U.S. cinemas on November 25th, followed by a limited release in the UK on December 2nd. The film will be available on Netflix for all global subscribers on December 30th. And aside from that, White Noise is eligible to participate in this year's Oscars due to its theatrical distribution prior to its streaming premiere. Let's take a look into the cast members, shall we? Now, as Jack, Adam Driver now leads the White Noise cast. Martin Scorsese calls Adam Driver one of the greatest, if not the best performers of his generation. In White Noise, in which he adopts a potbelly and receding hairline to play Jack Gladney, the energetic lecturer who teaches Hitler studies to his adoring pupils at the fictitious college on the hill. When an actual tragedy occurs and a life-threatening scenario needs an action hero rather than a somewhat insane but smart professor, Jack's intellectual abilities will be rendered useless. Greta Gerwig plays Jack's wife, Betty, a loving but neurotic mother who suffers from early dementia and is hooked to a mysterious substance called Dialer, which she believes is cherry lifesavers. Betty, a health instructor who teaches posture to community members, is preoccupied with death. At home, she and Jack discuss who will be the first to die and the most devastated. Their 4 children, 3 from previous marriages, are also captivated by death, racing to the television to watch news coverage of an aircraft disaster. Henrich, the analytic adolescent, is played by Sam Nivola. Steffi, the sensitive younger daughter, is played by May Nivola. Raffi Cassidy plays Denise, the inquisitive observer of her mother's neurotic behavior. Wilder, the youngest son, is played by twins Henry and Dean Moore. Maurice Siskind, played by a memorable Don Cheadle, is Jack's colleague who teaches a course in pop culture imagery and intends to achieve for Elvis what Jack has done for Hitler. The two guys deliver an exciting combined lecture about Hitler and Elvis in a major set piece. When taking a deeper look into the novel, you might get an idea of what's about to happen in the film. Don DeLillo's 1985 novel opens with what could be described as a love letter to movies. That was too deep, ain't it? Writer-director Noah Baumbach brings the outsized concepts and performances together, even adding a magnificent dance number in a supermarket to an already massive set piece. A scene critics equally appreciate as a must-see. After the Meyerowitz stories and Marriage Story, both starring Adam Driver, White Noise is Baumbach's 3rd film on Netflix. The film producers are Baumbach, David Hyman, and Yuri Singer. The film score is composed by Academy Award nominee Danny Elfman, and LCD Sound System contributed to a new original song for the film named New Body Ramba. Lowell Crawley, whose credits include The Devil, All the Time, and The Humans, is responsible for the film's cinematography. The film's editor is Matthew Hannum, who has previously worked on films such as Wildlife, Swiss Army Man, and Enemy. Jess Gonchor is the film's production designer. He previously received an Academy Award nomination for his work on True Grit and Hail Caesar. Before the movie was released, there was great excitement when some new images from White Noise were posted online. The new photographs show Professor Jack Gladney, played by Driver, and Babette Gladney, a normal middle-class couple with 4 happy children. Based on Don DeLillo's novel of the same name, White Noise investigates how death creeps into people's hearts, incubating their deepest fears as they strive to cling to routine to find meaning in their lives. It's a gloomy novel that Marriage Story filmmaker Noah Baumbach is adapting into a film that addresses the insanity of attempting to hold things together when you and your loved ones may die at any moment. It sounds like the ideal film to reflect on the consequences the epidemic had and continues to have on the world. Another recent image shows Babette with a hula hoop above her head and a huge smile, as though she's trying everything she can to maintain her sporting routine intact in the midst of chaos. Another shot displays Professor Jack and Professor Murray Sizekind having a series of chats, most likely regarding their approaching tragedy. Finally, the last image displays an intimate interaction between the leading pair bathed in green light behind the curtain. But none of the new photographs disclose anything about the narrative of White Noise, although the original novel is about a poisonous cloud that affects people's lives forever. The entire film seems like a modernist ballet, made real by the closing credits, paired with a brand new song by LCD Sound System, and features anamorphic camera work that smoothly changed focus and tracks the motion of various people. Aside from the physical mobility, the auditory motion is constant, with the film's sound design changing from voice to voice in subtle ways. It's a genuine delight to just sit back and enjoy this film. And while it's available on Netflix, seeing it in the theater is unforgettable. Not only is the balletic music fascinating, but so are the words each character delivers. While Baumbach is a modern master of language, the success of White Noise is ultimately down to DeLillo, who crammed so many inspiring, intellectual, and amusing lines into one book that it's astonishing each paperback doesn't instantly erupt from the seams like some jack-in-the-box. Baumbach intelligently translate the novel's lines virtually line for line in several instances. Even through the picture omits some of the novel's best parts. White Noise is the last thing that anybody would have anticipated from Baumbach, at least on the surface. With its precisely choreographed sequences, huge apocalyptic movie scenarios, flashes of CGI, and an enormous array of extras and real effects, it's a huge, absurd film based on one of the 20th century's great masterpieces, an epic that has been dubbed the Great American Novel. However, White Noise may be more related to Baumbach's topics than to his technique. Well, what do you think of it? If you ask me, we would say, if this all seems abstract and perplexing, it's because White Noise is. This is a movie about individuals studying the beauty of vehicle wrecks, speaking politically about Hitler and Elvis in the same Shakespearean style, and debating the right vocabulary to explain the vast death cloud raining illness on them. This isn't a mind-blowing film, and it doesn't belong to any genre. It alternates between being a family comedy and apocalyptic horror, a gripping thriller, and a goofy musical. Just as DeLillo's work was filled with ideas, Baumbach's White Noise is crammed with film, oozing brilliance in the most unexpected of ways, leaping from one wonderful scene to another without pause. Anyway, everything depends on the audience's perspective, and you guys do make sure to watch it and tell us what you think of it. Anyway, we'll meet again in the next episode. Until then, see ya!